Weeknights on MeTV. Who loves you, baby?
You shouldn't ask.
It's Kojak.
Well, it sounds like music to my ear.
On MeTV.
Look at me.
Why do we love him?
Maybe it's the way I comb my hair.
Or maybe it's his trusty right-hand man.
More bite? Crocker! Crocker! Crocker!
Kojak!
Well, I just wanted to hear how it sounded.
Telly Savalas' Kojak.
Story of my life, baby.
Weeknights at 12:30, 11:30 Central on MeTV.
Who loves you?
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with me here live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on Comcast 187 and 43.6. Today it's the world of sports. We're going to be talking to the head coach and one of the star players on the Fresno City Rams women's basketball team. That's right, their first-time guest, 265-4331 is the number. No doubt about it, this is one of my favorite times of year, this and the fall, but this time of year especially because there's so much going on in the world of sports, and you know how much I am such a big sports fan. I don't follow it as closely as I used to, but at this time of year, you've got the NCAA basketball tournament going on. You've got baseball starting up next week. Both the Giants and the A's open up their season along with all the other major league teams. Very exciting, optimistic time of year. And of course, the Masters golf tournament is coming up the first week in April, right after the championship game in the NCAA. And so speaking of championship basketball, time to talk about the Fresno City College Rams. Let's go to the videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The women's basketball team went 30-4 this year. That means 30 wins and only 4 losses. They went to the state finals for the 4th time in the last 6 years. That is great. They lost to the semifinals, though, to Mount San Antonio College, 69-57, but nonetheless, they had a terrific year. 13 players on the team, and all 13 play, believe it or not, including Madison Parrish. She came over from Fresno State. She averaged 16 points a game. The Rams are coached by the one and only Brian Tessler. What a great job he has done the last 6 years with the Rams. We're going to talk to him. And so live in our studio right now is guard Octavia Burnett and the one and only the coach Brian Tessler the last 6 years. We're going to talk about the Fresno City College Rams, the women's basketball team, on what a terrific, terrific season they had. 30 wins and 4 losses. Yes, they lost in the semifinals in the state championships, but you know what? It was still a fabulous season. We'd like you to call in 265-4331. Ask our guests some questions. They deserve a big pat on the back for having a great year. And call in. Ask your question. Don't be bashful. We're here for you, and you are here for us. Try to connect with us here on MeTV Fresno. We're back with our show in just a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean Dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
And welcome back to our program. It's World of Sports here on Connect with Me on this day, on Wednesday. And we're happy to have for the very first time Octavia Burnett. Hi, how are you?
Good.
And Brian Tessler, the head coach. How are you, Brian?
Doing well, thank you.
Great. So great season. I mean, let's not focus on the loss. Let's focus on all the wins. You had a terrific basketball season, Brian. Let's start with you. Why did you have such a good season?
Well, first and foremost, we have good players.
Right.
I think sometimes coaching is sometimes really overrated. I think the key is getting good players and getting them to play hard and getting them to buy into what the roles are. And then once you do that, I think you have a chance to be pretty good.
Now, what do you mean coaching can be overrated? What do you mean by that?
Well, I think sometimes we think we're more important than we need to be. You know, in my 16 years coaching community college basketball, I haven't scored a point yet, but my players have. So I think when you get good players that are willing to work hard, that have good attitudes, let them play, and things usually have a tendency to work out for the best.
Right. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree completely. What he was saying about we do work hard. We work really hard at practice.
Yeah.
People
He
just
pushes you, huh?
Yeah, he pushes us a lot.
But do you push yourself sometimes?
It's, yeah, 50-50.
Yeah. But do you agree with that? He hasn't scored a point yet in the 6 years he's been there. But he's got to get you to score the points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why'd you have such a good season?
Well, I think that we just bonded good. We in the beginning we didn't play as well together, I think, but as the season went along, we started knowing each other on the court, being able to just know each other basically. It was good for us.
Now, I never played professional sports. I never even played at the high school or college level, but I do know enough about sports because I was a sportscaster way back 110 years ago. I know enough to know that you can't have selfish players on the team and win. Is that true?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, selfish people, they would not last at Fresno City. I mean, it's a team sport. Right. We all contribute, so just being selfish it just wouldn't help us at all.
Right. Now, I know you came off the bench. You were not a starter. How did you feel about that? Were you okay with that? Obviously you were, but how did you come to terms with that? Gee, I'm not a starter, but you did well coming off the bench.
Well, it's not about who starts or anything. It's just, like Coach says, that if anything, you don't want to be a starter because it just doesn't, there's no value in it. Like with boys, they say, oh, are you a starter, that stuff like that, but it's different for girls. Like we all contribute.
Why is it different for girls?
I just feel like it's...
The boys have a bigger ego.
Yeah,
right?
they have bigger egos. We're humble, we're so humble, yeah. I feel like we're just humble amongst each other.
Do you think the girls play more as a team than the boys do, in some respects?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I think
no.
No.
Yeah, but for the boys, they like to kind of stick their chest out and say, "Hey, I'm a starter on the team. I'm a starter." But the girls they don't do that, huh? It's more of.
I think boys compete against each other more. We compete. I mean, we compete, but we're not like I'm going to be better than you are.
What did you learn this year?
This year, I've learned to be a team leader. I feel like because I wasn't really a leader last year. I was following under the other sophomores, but I began to get more leadership skills as the season progressed, and I feel like that's what really.
Now, how many years have you been on the team? Is this your first or second year? Second year.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing that you think you learned from your coach, Brian Tessler?
From my coach, never put my head down when I miss a shot. I feel like
that would be a good start.
Yeah. Never get down. Never get down on yourself. Work hard. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't. Because at high school, I didn't really work hard. I was just whatever. I got to do whatever I wanted. But
yeah,
I've become really disciplined thanks to Coach.
Really, he's made you a disciplined, person overall, or a player?
Overall, on the court and in the classroom.
In terms of what? When you say discipline, what are you more disciplined in terms of what?
Well, as of being late and all that, and
you used to be late. Well, you were late for practice.
In high school,
Not
I was.
Fresno City,
yeah,
she wasn't.
Octavia, I'm surprised.
5 miles if we're late.
Really?
Yeah.
100 push-ups and 10 5 miles. Is he a tough coach?
Yeah, he's a tough coach.
He is tough, huh?
Yeah.
He doesn't take it from anybody, does
nope.
he? He treats everybody equal.
Surrender to the system.
Yeah. What's your philosophy as a coach? What does it take to win at this level? Obviously, they're junior college players. They're only there for a couple of years, obviously. What's your philosophy in teaching? Because you taught at Reedley College. You know the system. You know the community college system. What does it take to communicate and relate to these players?
Well, I think it's a little bit of what you heard from Octavia. Number one, as I said, you have to get good players. But more importantly, they have to learn how to be disciplined, both on the court and off the court. They have to be one that is willing to work hard. They have to be tough. They can't go ahead and be kids that take things personally. They have to realize that when times are tough, when we're in a game and things aren't going our way, as Octavia said, you don't hang your head, you play through it. So I think more than anything else, it's a culture that we try to teach these kids, not just on the basketball court, but what's going to happen later on in life.
So you're not teaching them, Brian, X's and O's, or where to be, you know, a certain spot, a time in the game, when to take a shot, if it's baseline or whatever. You're more teaching. You're teaching them more about how to be responsible and how to be tough and how to be disciplined. Is that right?
Well, the basketball part to me is easy. Learning our offense, learning our defense, I don't think that's very difficult for
That's
them.
not an issue.
I think it's more of understanding that, as I said, it's a team-first concept.
Because what you practice may not happen on the court during the game. And so those are the times when you have to fight through. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I will say this. Our practices, I think, are harder than our games.
Okay.
So we do so much live stuff during practice that I think when a game comes about, there's nothing they haven't seen and nothing that they're not prepared for.
Right.
But I think, as I said, it's like if you take Octavia, for instance. Octavia came into our school with a very high GPA. She was very smart. She didn't have a whole lot of accolades in high school as far as on her basketball team, but you watch Octavia, and she was one that was willing to go ahead and take on a role, which was to guard the other team's best player, do the things we asked her to do. So she became very important. So you don't see in statistics how much Octavia meant to our program, but I know how much she meant to the program. The other girls know how much she meant to the program, and that's why I think we're successful, because all 13 girls played, all 13 girls had a role. At the end of the year, when we have our team banquet, which will be a month from now, you won't see any individual awards. Everything will be a team-driven type of aspect.
Yeah, and speaking of which, there's a picture of the team right there, 2012-2013 version of the Fresno City College Rams, a team that went 30-4. Look at that picture. That's a great photo, is it not? That's a great team photo.
I'm going to miss some of those girls. We're going to graduate a few of them.
How many are going to leave you?
6 will graduate.
Okay.
And then we'll return 7 from that played this year, and we have 2 other red shirts.
You're going to graduate too, right? You're not going to. Oh, you're going to miss him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah, I know he's going to miss you. Where's Octavia when I need her? Anyway, we're talking to Coach Brian Tessler and guard Octavia Burnett from the Fresno City College Rams. They had just an absolutely wonderful season. Hey, call in 265-4331 if you're watching, you know, and maybe you have a son or a daughter that might be a future basketball star, and you want to talk to the coach about a possible recruitment situation. Maybe they don't want to go to Fresno State or wherever. Fresno City might be your ticket. Back in a moment.
When you need to talk to a private eye.
You want to be talking to Jim Rockford.
That's right. He's the one to talk to.
They don't know who you're talking to. Rockford.
He's got everyone talking.
What kind of lowlife is he?
Takes out half-page ads in a phone book.
I seem to recall the phrase, moderately intelligent private detective.
You have a smart mouth.
You're right, I do. But I'm working on changing that.
Jim Rockford is all the talk on MeTV.
He's something else, all right.
Weekdays at 11, 10 Central on MeTV.
We are back here on Connect with Me, having a lot of fun today talking to the coach, Brian Tessler, and the guard, Octavia Burnett from the Fresno City College Rams women's basketball team, and a great season they had. Hey, we do have a phone call. Look at this. Let's take it. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Hey, good. What's your question?
I didn't have a question. I had a statement.
Oh, good.
To the coach. He needs to pat himself on the back because, like, I think a good athlete is a good athlete, but to take 13 good athletes and make them play as a team, that takes a good coach.
Can I hire her as my publicist?
Did you pay her to call in? I want to know.
No, but thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No, that is so, you know, ma'am, what's your first name?
Lori.
Lori, that is so true. I mean, I don't care if it's a girl, a boy, whatever. You take 13 players of any kind, it takes a great coach to bring them together and have them come up with a record of 30 wins and 4 losses.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, so any question you have? Do you have a daughter or a son that might, or do you have a daughter that might want to go to Fresno City?
No, my daughters are both grown with babies. My boys were football players.
Oh, okay. Well, we can't help you with that.
Yeah, they're all grown now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And by the way, you look good for 111 years old.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I try. Well, it's all that, you know, it's that plastic surgery. You know, it's really done wonders for my skin. Yeah, right. I've had about 10 plastic surgeries anyway, and makeup. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. So it really does take a skill. I mean, you have a skill, Brian, that not too many people have. And I don't care what level you're coaching at. It could be Little League Baseball. You know, I mean, my son played Little League Baseball last year, and I saw what some of the coaches did. It was not easy to bring some of those players together. So what's your magic?
Well, when I first got into coaching the women, which was 16 years ago, the one thing I didn't realize was that, for instance, if you and I got into an argument, we'd come back and play the next day. If two women get into an argument, that might last 6 months. So team bonding became a big issue for us. So one of the things we do is we do a tremendous amount of team bonding.
Is that true?
Yes.
It is? You hold a grudge?
Well, not against my teammates, but I feel like as women we do hold grudges.
Really? I'm glad you said that because I don't want to get in trouble.
That was the first thing I learned when I started coaching. So we made a very, very big issue out of team bonding in order to develop team chemistry. We go camping. We have a variety of different potlucks. This year we had laser tag. We have a dinner dance.
Laser tag. Did you go to Laser Quest for that?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
So we do a variety of different things, especially early in the year, to get them to get to know each other, to understand each other.
So are women, coaching the women, are they more sensitive?
You know what? I don't know that they're actually, I'll be honest with you, I think guys are more sensitive. I think women have a tendency, at least dealing with me, they get tough and they're able to overcome some things. I think.
You yell at them?
Yes.
And how do they take that?
Well, they don't have a choice. Yeah. They deal with it. But the one thing,
deal with it, Octavia.
The one thing they understand is that when we're done with practice, practice is over. There's it doesn't carry over.
Right.
When we lose a game, there's no blaming anyone after the game.
You ever gotten into a skirmish with one of your teammates? Come on, be honest.
No.
No?
No.
Have you gotten irritated at one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it last?
Well, just to the end of practice, but we usually get over it.
How long? 6 months later?
No.
All right, let's take a call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Having too much fun here. How are you?
Good morning. Fine. Thank you very much. I got a question for Octavia. So Octavia's going to graduate out of the Rams program. Are you being recruited to play with other ball clubs, Octavia? You got plans to continue with your with basketball?
Well, I haven't really decided if I want to continue yet, but there are a couple options. I'm seeing I'm trying to get into USC right now, so if I don't get accepted, I think I'm going to continue playing basketball. But education's always first for me.
If you can't get into USC, and you know, I'll be rooting for you. I hope you do.
Yeah.
Where do you think you might want to go to school?
I actually am considering Whittier College.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
They have a pretty good academic program there.
Yes.
Kinesiology, and the coach is interested in me, so I figure.
And that's your major, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
2 more years, I think I can do it.
Let me piggyback on that.
Go ahead.
To answer that caller's question, one of the things we tell kids, you have to remember, most of the kids that we take have not been recruited out of high school. That's one of the reasons they go to Fresno City College. Generally, with our players, it has nothing to do with grades. It's usually that they haven't been recruited. I tell the kids...
Does it have to do with talent or what?
Probably, or the fact they haven't been seen. There's a lot of reasons, but...
Or they might have hidden talent that nobody's seeked out, right?
And a lot of times it's just word by mouth. But one of the things that we tell our kids, and I've told, when I first recruited Octavia, the higher your GPA, the better opportunity you have to go play somewhere. There's always a place to play, whether it's in California, whether it's outside California.
So how much exposure do these young ladies get by playing for Fresno City College? I mean, will they get the exposure at Fresno State, and other college recruiters will come and visit you and see you
and again,
personally play?
It depends on the level of talent that we have. For instance, this year with Madison Parrish, because she is a Division I player.
Right. She was at Fresno State, right? Right. And then fell back to Fresno City. Correct. For whatever reason, I don't know. But
and we had more Division I coaches watch us. But generally, we're going to get the NAIA, the Division II.
So how many division coaches do you get scouting your games?
It depends on the game.
But you do have them, right?
Sure. And because of our level of talent, we're going to get more than most. I will say, and again, this may sound arrogant, but because I've done it for so long, it's really by word of contact. I'll call it, for instance, the Whittier coach that came up to see us play is because I coached against her years ago, and she knows how hard our kids play. Octavia has the GPA to go along with a variety of other things, so she becomes marketable to teams like Whittier, Simpson University, William Jessup, things of that nature. And if she wanted to go outside of California, which I don't think she does, then she has a whole level of other teams that would be interested in her. Right. So the recruiting process is one that, first of all, you have to understand that the other coach has to be the one that wants to recruit their kids.
I see.
Our kids get recruited because of the fact that we win, and they know that they're going to get a tough kid that's been through the grind and can handle it.
Right. So there is a purpose for the junior college system, and it serves a great purpose, and gives people like Octavia here a great point or a great guard, an opportunity to showcase your talent for other coaches that come in and see you. I mean, and this happens with community colleges all over the country. It's the same story, right?
Yes and no.
You're showcasing. You're showcasing basically for a bigger university.
Right. It depends, as I said, on the connections that particular community college has.
Take a quick call before we go to break here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you? Hello. You're on. Are you there? I'll give you one more chance. You're there or not there? Okay, I guess you're not there. They were there. Anyway, let's take a break. The Fresno City College Rams head coach Brian Tessler is here, along with guard Octavia Burnett. And what a great season they had. 265-4331 is our number.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready, steam-equipped, high-efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
We're back with Coach Brian Tessler of Fresno City College, or Rams, the coach of the women's basketball team, and Octavia Burnett, the guard. Let me ask you, Brian, now you coached have experience in coaching boys and girls, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you explained the difference here briefly just a few minutes ago. So do you miss coaching the boys? Or would you rather coach girls basketball?
You know what? I don't miss coaching the guys. I enjoyed coaching the guys. I coached at Madera High School, and I coached the boys for 7 years there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And I think if someone asked me this, if I were to go back to high school, I would probably coach boys. Remaining at the community college level, I would only coach the women. And the reason
Give us your history a little bit. Where have you coached before?
Well, I started off, Madera High was my first head coaching position.
Okay.
And I was there for 7 years and then moved into the position at Reedley for 10 years.
Yeah.
When I got to Reedley, in fact, I was just talking to Octavia about that. The job I inherited, they had lost 50 games in a row over a 2.5-year span.
Jeez.
So it was a tough situation. And by our third year, we won the conference. And then we went to the state tournament our last 3 out of 4 years. Mm-hmm. So we were able to turn the program around, and it was interesting because we beat Fresno City to a drum, my last 4 or 5 years, which was always fun.
You came to work for them.
And then they had the job open up full time, and I applied for it and was able to get it, and here I am 6 years later.
Do you have any aspirations, like maybe going to Fresno State, or because I know their women's coaching position has been open a couple of times here?
Absolutely not. I love where I'm at. You know what? I'm at a point in time in my career where I don't want to travel like that.
Yeah.
You're always on the road. You're chasing
and the
kids.
Pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's more money, but as I said, the pressure wouldn't be, that's not as big a deal to me. It's probably more the traveling. When I go and recruit a kid now, doesn't matter where I go, I'm home by 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. You don't want to be sitting on some plane somewhere in Dallas or...
Yeah. It's just not for me at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So were you born and raised here in Fresno?
No, I was born in New York.
You were born in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite cities. And how did you end up here on the West Coast?
My cousin lives in Porterville. My mom wanted to move out of the city, so.
Right. And did you go to high school in this area here?
Visalia, El de Monte.
Great, great. And so, so next year's team without Octavia, what does it look like? You said you're losing 6 players, right? Mm-hmm. What does it look like?
You know, it's interesting. It's always the following year when I really miss the kids that left the year before.
When do you start thinking about next year? Is it like immediately when the last game is over? Do you start thinking a little bit ahead?
I think about the following year during our season. I'm
really?
always thinking about recruiting, who
Okay.
I want to replace certain kids, so it never ends.
All right, now this is a live program. This could help you recruiting. I mean, our signal goes all the way up, I know, because I've been there, all the way up to Atwater and down close to Bakersfield. So a lot of people watching. What would you like to say to some of those potential recruits out there?
Well, I think if you're looking for a school that's going to be successful, and more importantly, if you're looking for a coach that's going to be loyal to you and help you move on after your 2 years at Fresno City, then I think we're the place. If you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to buy into what we do, I think we provide an overall program. Mm-hmm. I think we've had good connections over the years with different schools, so we move our kids on. But more importantly, I think it's a program where you'll learn discipline, responsibility, and as you move into adulthood, I think it's something that is a good stepping stone for you.
Let's put up the picture of Octavia here. We have a nice, because she's live in the studio here, but look at that. She's in her uniform, looks great, looks like a basketball player. What would you like to say to some of those youngsters out there that are looking, possibly some of the high school kids that maybe are thinking about coming over to Fresno City College, and what your experience was, and what would you tell them?
I would tell them that they would be making a great choice, and that
because
they will gain skills that will help them in the future, like being disciplined and being able to work hard, and yeah, they have to come in and be able to work hard with a good mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll learn the life skills, not only basketball skills, but how to conduct yourself off the court, right?
Yeah.
So, how's recruiting going, Brian?
Good, good. You know, we
do you
target
travel up and down the valley?
Yeah.
Or? Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go up through Merced, on down through Bakersfield. One of the things that we like to do, and we've always talked about, is we'd like to win the state tournament, and we'd like to do it with all local kids. If you look at the 13 players that we have on our program this year, they're all local. And I've always said, if I'm going to win it, I'm going to win it with local kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because I've always said that the kids in this area are good enough to do it. And, you know, we've made a pretty good run at it.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here. You've got no notes in front of you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to give every single player a shout out here. We've only got a minute left. Mention their names on the air. You've got Octavia here. We mentioned your other star player, the guard,
Madison
Parrish.
Well, first of all, at the point guard spot, we have Devonna Jenkins, who's also a sophomore, and Madison Parrish. If you move over one spot to our 4, we have a young lady by the name of Kiora Wari, who's back from New Mexico State. We have Dominique Pilkington, and we have Nina Gregory. Over at the 3 spot, we have Kayla Kovacevic, we have Jasmine Simpson, and then we have Octavia Burnett. At our off-guard spot, we have Janae Alcantar and Carissa Booker. And then in the post, we have a young lady by the name of Shay Kaufman, Leslie Allenschlager, and then we have Tony Anaya. And then red shirt-wise, we have Angela Orduno and Diana Corona.
Hey, that's all 13 players, and they deserve the recognition. That's why I wanted you to mention their name. They had a terrific season, 30-4. Let me put you on the spot before we leave.
Okay.
Who was the best player on the team this year?
There was no best player.
Great answer.
He told you to say that, right? No. Darn it. All right, tell me after the show. It's great to see you. Great to have you here, and I appreciate you coming in and coming again, Brian. And,
I'd love to.
You know, I mean, this is great exposure for your program, and you know, we appreciate you coming in. You've done a lot for the community, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
And good luck to you. Hope you get into USC.
Thank you.
It's a great school, great program. Brian, continued success over there. You're doing a great job as an educator and a teacher, a coach, and everything. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Back with more of Connect With Me tomorrow. If you're watching Connect With Me, you must be watching Me TV Fresno. Have a great day.
Carolina in the morning. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina.